TribLIVE Radio presents Gladiators of the Cage, online at GOTCMMA.com and on Twitter at GladiatorMMA412. It's time to get all the inside info on the Pittsburgh MMA scene right now, right here, only on TribLIVE Radio.
What's up, everybody? It is TribLIVE Radio. It's Tuesday, 3 o'clock. That means it's time for a half hour of MMA talk. I'm Justin LaBar, and he's back.
I'm back, brother.
No, nothing going to hold him down.
Not even 15, 20 staples, but I'm here, brother.
Robert is back, one of the bosses and founders of Gladiators of the Cage MMA, based right here in Pittsburgh. Some great shows, as we talked about every week. We got great MMA talk, both about the MMA world in general and about their shows. Next one is in October
24th, Sirius Shriner Center down here in Cheswick. We got a great card main event again. It's a title, 145 title with Mark Cherico, the Pride of Bloomfield, going against Nathan, the Night Train Landwehr. Both of them had great records, and they've been posting a lot on Facebook saying, hey, so I'm really looking forward to this event. I think Mark's got all of Bloomfield worked up about this whole fight.
Well, and we'll, of course, be talking about that fight as the next, 6 weeks go by here. We're going to start off here. We're on our video here on TribLIVE Radio's YouTube. Again, you can subscribe. And not only will you get every video talking MMA, but you'll get pro wrestling, you'll get mainstream sports. So it's great to subscribe to the TribLIVE Radio YouTube. Some suspensions and some discipline.
Oh, yeah. Nick Diaz just got his suspension handed down by the UFC. He got a suspension handed down with $165,000 fine, 5-year suspension. And even though he's with UFC and he could, lose his contract, he gets suspended by every organization across the country and the world. So it's not like he just can't fight for the UFC. He can't fight anywhere for 5 years. Now, I'm sure there's going to be
huge.
Oh, it is. And I'm sure there's going to be appeals. There's going to be he might be able to find some Indian reservation that doesn't belong to the sanctions. But,
I think Scott and I were talking about that like 2 weeks ago. What do they call it? They have a name for them.
Smokers.
Smoker.
Go fight for a smoker.
Smoker, that's what it was.
But just like every other organization.
Is this fair?
I don't know if it's fair or not, because you figure you got other fighters that's been involved with domestic violence. You got them involved with PEDs. You got them involved in other drugs like cocaine, and none of them have gotten a suspension like this. It's just like the NFL. Nothing's consistent.
Yeah.
They got to come up with a consistent rule. Well, if you break this rule, this is what you get, and there can be no question about it. And he got slapped, and he got more than slapped. He got punched.
Is this, you know better than I would, and again, you guys can chime in on the comment section below this video. Is this the most severe suspension somebody's?
That's according to what I've read on the mixedmartialarts.com website, that this has been the most severe suspension handed down by the UFC to a fighter.
Because I can't imagine how it doesn't get. Other than a 5-year suspension, it's pretty much banned for life otherwise.
Oh, it is, because you think this is a sport where age means everything.
Yeah.
And whenever, 5 years down the road, he's aged quite a bit. And, this could pretty much mean a career ender for him.
Yeah.
And there's not going to be much more out there.
Is there a lawsuit that he could
I'm sure he's going to just do like everybody else. He can get a hold of his attorneys. He's going to appeal the suspensions. He'll get it reduced over time. Maybe not so much the money, but the years. I'm sure he'll get that brought down to something more manageable for him in his career.
Let me ask you, before we wrap up the video here, from your standpoint as a boss for Gladiators of the Cage, and obviously you don't necessarily have to name anybody if there's an answer to this, have you ever had to deal with ever handing down discipline of yourself? Like, has a fighter ever stepped out of line and not represented the brand like you guys want?
I have, and mostly the penalties are handled by the Pennsylvania Athletic Commission.
But if they
break my rule, I don't bring them back.
Yeah. And what kind of rules do you have?
I'm pretty strict with the domestic violence thing. If I find out that you're involved in a domestic violence or something of that nature where that can be controlled, which there's no excuse for, I'm pretty pro-active for that. So right. I'm not for that, and I generally don't bring a fighter back if I find out they're involved in some sort of domestic violence or assaults or something of that nature. But that's where I come from. With the drug thing, I have had to deal with some of the fighters testing positive for marijuana. But then again, the Athletic Commission handles that, and they hand down suspensions. So I really don't deal with that. The only thing I can do is not bring them back if they do something I don't agree with.
Right. Well, that's what I was curious. I was curious what the standards were. There you go, talking suspensions and all kinds of disciplinary action to discuss here, both presently and...
One quick thing. I was watching Fox, and they were doing, asking these athletes who their fantasy dates were, and 2 or 3 of these football players mentioned Ronda Rousey. I thought that was kind of funny that that she is their top of the list for them, because obviously she's tough, she's bad, and I guess they want to go on a date with her.
They want to find somebody tougher than her. So there you go. TribLIVE Radio every single Tuesday. We've got our opening segment here on Gladiators of the Cage. Make sure you subscribe.
Yep.